All right, everybody, let's recap the lesson from today. Today we're talking about exponential functions. So I had to erase that bad mistake, but it's exponential functions. And we know it's a function because they look like this. They would definitely pass the vertical line test. That's exponential decay, and that one is exponential growth. They're definitely functions, so we can write them as f of x. So we can say f of x equals a, which is the beginning amount, b is the rate, to the x power. Exponential functions, the exponent is x. Or if we're looking at a rate, like a percentage rate, we'd write a little bit differently, 1 plus or minus r to the x, okay? So example 1, we want to make an exponential equation. So we're given 2 points, 0, 3, and 2, 12. We know we can fit a curve to it, but then we're like, well, what's the equation of that? So we start off to find the equation of this curve with our formula, f of x equals a b to the x, right? So I know some information. I know if I plugged in 0, I'd get an answer of 3. So I did that. I made my f of x equal to 3 and my x 0, and then I know anything to the 0 power is 1. So it turns out that a is 3. I need more information, okay? So I know a is 3, but I know b. So I substitute again, but this time I take the second point, plug in 2 for x, and set it equal to 12. I can solve for b, so I divide by 3. I got 4, and then I square rooted, and b is 2. So now I can rewrite my equation. I know it's supposed to be f of x equals a b to the x. So I wrote as f of x equals 3 times 2 to the x. Don't make that a 6. Do not. That's 2 to the x, not 6 to the x. Okay, so then I use my formula to find f of negative 2. I plugged in negative 2 for the x variable, and I wound up with 3/4. Okay? Example 2. In example 2, what I needed to do was find how long, so a bank can advertise that it can double your money in 12 years, okay? So, okay, well, what is the interest rate? Okay, if it can double your money in 12 years, what is the interest rate? So I set it up. I said, okay, if I double my money, so I took my money, I don't know how much, I'm going to say P for however much, but I know I'm going to double it. It could be $100, $200, but I know if this is P, that's got to be 2P. Why P? Because that's the principal I put in, okay? They can say you can double your money. We don't know how much money you have. So I solve for it, divide by P, divide by 2. P, and I got 2 equals 1 plus r. And then I took the 12th root. I took the 12th root of 12, and I got about 1.06. Subtract 1, and I get 0.06, so the interest rate is 6%. So then we also have this formula called the rule of 72, and it's a banking term. So if you take 72 divided by interest rate, you get about the time to double. Sure enough, I take 6% divided by 72. Sure enough, it's about 12. Okay. On the back side, okay, half-life. So if it's half-life, that means my rate, or my base, is 1/2, and it has a half-life of 6 days. It's a cycle of time, okay? I call that big T a cycle of time, okay? So every 6 days, it takes half. So I put a half here, okay, or 6 here. So my equation was, I start with 100, half-life, T is total time, and 6, which is my cycle of time, okay? So I used my equation. I plugged in 20. I used my calculator, okay, so I'll show you real quickly. I just went like this. I'm going to go 100 times 1/2 to the power of 20 divided by 6, and only about 9.92 grams are left, okay? Example 4 is a little bit different. It's like a real-life experiment. We started with 128, and we saw it slowly dissipate. The half-life, 128 to 64, is 6 days. It took 6 days for that to happen, so my half-life is 6 days. I use my formula, y equals a, beginning amount, half, t is total time to the cycle of time. I knew my half-life was 6. My starting amount was 128. So then I used my formula, 24 is 1 day. So I plugged 24 into my formula, and it turned out to be about 8 bacteria left. Okay, so that's all I had, and here is the homework assignment.